Hey, what's up, YouTube shooting people? It's a happy day here. I got my my 1911 back. This is a customization project. I started with a new 70 series government model, which is in pretty good shape, but it was a plain Jane government model 70 series, and I wanted to make a gun that would be my USPSA single stack gun. I could also use it in IDPA for CDP shooting. So it would basically be my competition gun, particularly for USPSA. I really liked the 1911. I enjoy it a lot. I wanted something kind of special, a little bit different. So basically the idea was to take that 70 series and build on it to make it pretty much perfect for my application. So here it is. This is the completed project. This is ready to go. I'll be shooting it in the match tomorrow. And you know, I'll do a video on it, and you'll see how she runs. What did I have done to it? Well, I had a lot done to it. Let's start to the internals. I'm not going to break the gun down, but the ignitions parts in it are completely changed. There's a new there's a new tuned extractor. There's a new firing pin in it. There's a new sear. It's a Warren True Radius sear, disconnect, and a Harrison design. I believe it's Harrison design. My memory is brutally awful, so I can't remember if it's Harrison or Harrington or whatever, but I'm pretty sure it's Harrison design. Yeah, it's Harrison design. Hammer. Let's cock it back, put it on safe so you can see that. The trigger is new. Trigger's been refitted. Also Harrison design. It's an Extreme Service 1911 trigger. It's got a smooth face on it as opposed to a serrated face. Smith & Alexander mainspring housing in Magwell. Ed Brown beaver tail with memory bump. Ed Brown extended thumb safety. Wilson extended slide release. Wilson extended mag release, an EGW bushing. This bushing's actually bought oversized, and then the gunsmith fits it to the gun. The barrel's been recrowned, and I'll show you all this in more detail. Ken sight, rear sight, it's serrated in the back. It's just plain black. This gun's been zeroed. Dawson front sight with a fiber optic in it. It's a .1 fiber optic. What else? VZ grips with a relief cut in it to allow you to drop your magazine quickly. Front strap's been serrated. The serrations on the front of the front strap match the serrations on the Smith & Alexander mainspring housing perfectly. The gun was also tightened up. There was work done to get rid of that Colt rattle. If you own Colt 1911s, you know when you shake them they rattle. So this slide and frame have been refitted together. They're nice and tight. And the barrel's been fitted. It's a super tight lockup on that barrel. The barrel was actually pretty good. It just needed a little bit of reworking and to be recrowned. Right now this gun's been zeroed at 25 yards. With jacketed hollow points from a rest, it shoots a single hole. My gunsmith has a target. He tested it, and the same with lead round nose or coated lead round nose. So super accurate firearm as you would expect. The frame's also been altered here. If you look, you can. It's a little bit hard to see on the dark background, but there's been a relief cut made here. So to allow you to get a higher hand grip. So typically this goes straight back. There's a relief cut to allow your hand to get a higher grip. So better grip on the gun, control recoil a little bit better when you're trying to get that second shot. So let's do some close-ups of what this bad boy looks like. Let me adjust the camera and I'll get right back to you. Alright, let's take a look at it. Let's start from the muzzle end. This gun's been safety checked. There's no magazine in it. We'll just do it again. There's nothing in it. We'll drop the hammer on an empty chamber. There's nothing in the gun. Okay. So let's go ahead and do that again. Alright, if you look first at the muzzle, this gun's been freshly oiled. You can see the EGW bushing. It's extra thick. I think you can get a appreciation for that if you look at it from the profile. And this this plug for the full-length guide rod is actually custom made by the gunsmith and is actually cut flush with the bushing, and the barrel's actually cut flush. So it's a pretty neat look in the front of the gun. Okay, and you just have to excuse the oil and the fingerprints. So that's the front end. Now this bushing is custom fit to the barrel. There's no movement here. This fit. The barrel to the bushing is extremely tight, as well as the bushing to the slide is tight. That's the main determiner of accuracy, in addition to your crown and the quality of your barrel. This is the standard barrel. It was actually pretty good. I happen to get lucky and get a good one from the factory, so no problems there. There was some issues in lockup, so that just required some reworking on this end. But I think you can see this barrel does not move in the gun at all. Okay, so that's a really tight lockup. That's a main determiner of accuracy. That Dawson front sight's really nice. It works really well with that Ken sight rear, and that's what the sight picture looks like. So this is serrated here. I hope you can see that. So that there's no glare on a sunny day, and the top's actually a matte finish. It's just a little oily right now. Serration stayed the same. I want to keep the classic look of the 70 series 1911. I think you can get a feel for that grip safety, really being able to accommodate my thumb really well. So if I ride that and rest on it, it's really comfortable. It's actually, you know, the gunsmith orders it. It's wider, and then he cuts it and shapes it for your hand. That's part of the deal. All right, if we look at the extended slide release right here, why do you want that? Well, if I'm in slide lock, okay, I've run out of rounds, I got to reload. If I take, this happens to be a magazine with a snap cap in it, I don't want to slam the slide home on an empty chamber. But without really moving your hand very much, you can get to that and rack the next round in. Okay, and you're ready to go. Let's get rid of that snap cap. And so that's just a nice feature in terms of being able to facilitate nice quick reloads. All the MIM parts are gone on this gun. There are none left. So this is every part here is a bar stock part. The trigger face is smooth. It's really nice. The length was picked. It's a medium length that works out for my hand size. Okay. The grip of the gun is really nice. That beaver tail and that relief here really allows you to get a high grip on the gun, which is what you want. And the extended magazine release allows you, with a minimal rotation, to drop that magazine. Kind of hard to do behind the camera and get everything on there, but you get what I mean. Oh yeah, this is actually an important part. The ejection port's been lowered. And there's actually the flare in the back, if the gun's tuned right, doesn't really do much. But having it extended in the front allows you to eject a live round. Okay, so when you have to unload and show clear, that's pretty handy. You'll actually see guys with 1911s, when they eject a live round, a lot of times it'll go down the magazine well, come out the bottom. This will allow you just a standard ejection of it. All right, so lots of thinking. There's also been a radius cut here for the slide release. I hope you can appreciate that bevel. It's just a cosmetic thing. It looks pretty. Okay. There's oil. Again, I just oil the gun, and for obvious reasons. The serrations on the front strap. Why serrations on the front strap rather than checkering? Well, first of all, let me point out that they match these. If you look at lines per inch, they match perfectly to what's on the Smith & Alexander mainspring housing. I picked serrations rather than checkering because when you come in for your grip in a holster, the serrations for me, it's a personal thing, right? They hold up my hand sometimes, and I wind up getting locked into a shitty grip. So this allows me to move my hand a little bit more and to correct my grip easier. Okay, so it's easier to correct my grip. That's why I did that. I think they came out really nice. They're really pretty cool, and the match is perfect. The magazine well has been blended to the frame, so there's no ridge here, and you get basically your maximum opening. Okay, and this is not This is actually, been redone at the gunsmith, and this part was sent out to be re-blued to match the rest of the gun. The internals, as I said, have all been changed. We're not going to break it down to that level. This is a true custom, for the most part. If you look at the, by the way, tightness, I don't think you can get any tighter than that. I mean, this thing isn't going anywhere. Okay, this is a tight mofo. It's a super smooth. It needs to break in now because it's been readjusted, but there's been about 150 rounds shot through this gun already through testing. Make me feel confident that there's not going to be any function problems, but that'll continue to break in. It's super smooth. If you could feel it, you'd understand what I'm saying. There's also a new firing pin stop that's been installed. This is a firing pin stop made again by Harrington Designs, and it's cut on an angle that mates up with the hammer. So, because remember what this is actually doing, when you fire the gun, the hammer goes forward. This thing now comes back to recock the gun. What's actually driving that, what's contacting it, is in fact the firing pin stop, and it's hard to actually see in there. I think you can see it there, but that firing pin stop's actually oversized and angled in a way that allows it to. You didn't see that because I was looking at it. That firing pin stop's cut and angled. You can see it down there to allow it to match up with that trigger, with that hammer, in a near perfect angle to maximize the ability to cock without having resistance, having the least amount of resistance. Which, of course, the more resistance you have, it adds to your recoil. So these are all subtle things. The full-length guide rod. Why a full-length guide rod? They're a pain in the ass to break down. Yeah, that's true. The only thing it does is it keeps your gun from binding. So that's kind of it keeps your mainspring from binding it also. A little bit smoother operation does not, contrary to popular belief, have anything to do with accuracy whatsoever in any way, shape, or form. Period. And it's actually debatable whether or not it has anything to do with reliability. Okay, I just felt like, why not? So here it is. I'll show you some close-ups of it. I'd like to know what you think of it. I'm really happy with her. I really like shooting my Glock 34, but honestly there's nothing like this 1911. Oh, the most important part, the trigger. The trigger has been refitted. There's no movement up and down, right? Look at that. Hardly any, right? Which, there's got to be a little, of course, but because it's got to move freely. But here's the take up, and watch the break. Okay, so now if I go back and look at my reset, there's my reset. Right? I think you'll agree. Oops. The reset's real easy. I think you'll agree that, and this is something I'm going to have to get used to because it's so much different than my Smith & Wesson, but that reset, right? I do get an audible click, and there I am. Boom. If you could feel this trigger, you'd get a boner, or you'd get your panties wet, because I don't want to be sexist. So I'll equal representation of both sexes. And if you don't wear panties, and you can come and shoot my gun. It's just it's the balls. I mean, just this thing is fit into the bow of this trigger is fit into the gun. Just beautifully. Now I don't have any words to describe it. I'm in love with it, obviously. Those are just oil spots and standard stuff. So this is my new baby. I'd like to know what you think of it. I'll show you some close-ups of her, and then leave some comments. I'd like to know. Looking forward to shooting it. There's nothing quite like the 1911 pistol, just because of the trigger, the weight of the gun. You know, they're really, I think the gunsmith said it, they're kind of like the Porsches of pistols in a lot of ways. They really are. And they just perform really well if you get them done right. They're just beautiful. 45 ACP is contrary to popular belief that it's this big recoiling round. It's actually not. I think it's lesser recoiling round than the 40 Smith & Wesson. So there she is. I hope you like it, and I'll talk to you later. Thanks.